My boss just told us we are going to be 1099 employees instead of W-2 beginning Monday. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Can he do this? We're all freaking out, and he said if anyone has a problem with it to turn in their 2-week notice. Today, we will still get an hourly wage and have to work in the office. But now we are responsible for paying the entirety of our own taxes. He provides no benefits, so some of us get health insurance through healthcare.gov, and we are under the impression that we will lose our benefits once our statuses change. If anyone can help me calm down, I will be very grateful. I don't know whether to be angry, hurt, or disappointed, but currently my emotions are all over the place. Who decides which tools to use and when you are on the clock? If they are the company's tools or they dictate the work schedule, then you are an employee, W-2, and not an independent contractor. 1099. Source: I am a CPA. Can he misclassified you? Sure. Can you file a Form 8919? You sure as hell can. Will it bite him in the ass next year? Absolutely. Edit. Hey op. Start here. Print up extra for your coworkers. https://www.ers.gov/pub/erspdf/fss8.pdf. Can he? Yes. Is he also committing tax fraud? Depends on if you are a legit contractor or not. If you can set your own schedule and have to provide your own tools and set your own compensation via a contract that both parties agreed to, then yes, you would be a 1099 contractor. If he refuses to allow you to do any part of those, then you would be a W-2 employee. Microsoft tried this in the 90s. Converted a bunch of employees to 1099 contractors. But their job didn't change. They got sued and had to pay $97 million to about 8,000 employees. If your suddenly 1099 rate needs to go up. When I got laid off by a W-2 job, but hired back a month later as freelance, it was with a pay bump. Organize your coworkers to all quit, strike unless he agrees to a pay bump. If now taxes and health insurance are your responsibility. I am glad he got to enjoy all that free PPP money at least. Short answer: yes, he can. Longer answer: yes, he can. But the taxing and labor authorities would love to hear from you about it. You can contact your state's Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division to clarify W-2 or independent contractor status. Your boss is more than likely breaking federal labor laws. Seems like you'd have to sign a new contract agreement to become an independent contractor. Any new contract should have scope of work, compensation, deliverables and deadlines, termination conditions, etc., that you as the contractor would have to sign and agree to. If he is converting you against your original employment agreement, that likely would be the same as termination, which may make you eligible for unemployment benefits. I'd consult a lawyer ASAP. I was 1099 for years after being a W-2 employee, but I made my own hours, picked the projects I wanted to work on, etc. I controlled my own employment. Sounds like your boss is trying to get the best of both worlds. Look for another job, and starting on Monday, start showing up whatever time you want. Take a leisurely lunch and leave whenever you want. You are now self-employed. Lol. I worked for a Comcast subcontractor who did this. We were W-2 for years, and all of a sudden Monday we were now illegally 1099. There's a form you can fill out and send to the Department of Labor. They are illegally classifying you as a 1099 independent contractor. I started just not showing up to work, and when they would call me to bitch, I would say, "Hey, I'm a 1099 independent contractor. I set my own hours. If you guys tell me I need to be at work at 8 a.m. at a specific location, I'm a W-2 employee. What you wanna do? They ended up paying me a small cash settlement to leave the company to not report them looking back. I hate myself for allowing them to do that to everyone else, and I'm sure the government would have paid me nicely for reporting the tax fraud. Worst case scenario is that he's within the law, and you do become 1099. This means you're taking a massive pay cut. That's important to understand. You won't see it immediately, but you absolutely will at tax time. Like, you're going to owe the IRS way more than you think. I'd say you'd need at least a 20% pay increase just to break even. If your boss won't do that, get out of there as fast as you can. Even finding a temporary job at a lower wage will ultimately be better in the long run. As a former CalOSHA compliance officer, I've come across this a lot of times. The questions to ask are: 1. Are you able to set your own hours of work? 2. Do you provide your own tools or instruments? 3. Are you able to negotiate your wage? 4. Are you able to hire employees to assist you with your work? 5. Are you required to provide workers' compensation for yourself or your employees? 6. Do you possess a license, such as a contractor's license? If the answer is no to any of these questions, then no, you are not an independent contractor. And this is a ruse by the employer to dodge their legal liabilities. So, what can you do to prevent you from being ripped off by your employer? 1. Under no circumstances sign the 1099. If the employer fires you, file for unemployment and get a lawyer. 2. File a wage and hour complaint with your local labor commissioner. 3. File a complaint with your local labor commissioner for no workers' compensation insurance by your employer. 4. File a complaint with your state tax board. 5. File a complaint with the IRS. 6. If your employer is doing business with a state or federal agency, file a complaint with that agency. 7. If your employer has a license or permit to operate issued by a state or local government agency, file a complaint with that agency. 8. If your employer is a member of a professional society, file a complaint with that society. As a 1099 contractor, you cannot collect unemployment due to the nature of the independent contractor status. If you are injured on the job as an independent contractor, you can sue the party you have a contract with for unlimited damages. In California, the penalty for not providing workers' compensation insurance is $250 per day per employee. No matter what, this employer sounds like a horrible person, and you would be better off looking for a better place to work. Please let us know how this turns out. Disclaimer. IANAL, but I did have the flip side of this happen. I was the boss, and a contractor told the IRS that he was a regular non-contract, so he could stick me with the taxes he hadn't been paying. I sent the IRS a copy of his contract, which included entire sections on what made him a contractor and not an employee according to IRS requirements. And they just plain went after him for trying that stunt. So, my expertise on this is as an actual employer that have contractors working for me. An NBSP. Did your boss hand out work contracts for everyone to review and sign? You're not a contractor without a contract, as you're either a contractor or you're not. There are very specific rules on this. There's no such thing as a 1099 employee. If your employer can dictate processes, e.g., you have to do things in a specific way and not however it takes to reach a desired goal, can control behavior, e.g., sets work times, mandates attendance, etc., is responsible for any licensing certifications that may be required for the job, e.g., You work under their licenses, certs, and aren't required to maintain them on your own. And most importantly, takes on all business cost, risk. E.g., they provide tooling, equipment that you don't have to pay for. You might get fired, but they could face legal, civil action or be shut down by a regulator, etc. You're an employee and not a contractor. No matter what the boss thinks. If your boss doesn't dictate processes but only the results, e.g., your finished, submitted work must meet standards but how you actually do the work is left to you. Doesn't control behavior, e.g., you can work whenever or from wherever. Isn't responsible for any licensing, certifications that may be required for the job. E.g., you have your own BTR, occupational, your own company name, your own tools and equipment, etc., and assumes little or no business risk on your behalf. You're a contractor. And yes, there has to be an actual work contract that's properly executed between relevant parties. An NBSP. The IRS does not like contract employment, as it's a popular method for pushing tax liability onto a company's workforce instead of handling taxes as part of their payroll management. They really don't like it when employees are suddenly reclassified as contractors, especially en masse and without there being actual contracts in place, because that's straight-up tax fraud. I reported my former company to the NYDOL about the 1099 and they paid them a visit and lost their license as a result. You can sue them too. I don't know what state you are, but find out the laws for your state and every one of you document your time there. When you clock in and out, keep working as usually, and once you have enough time and proof you are all working in that office, then file a report. All of you. The more you have, the stronger your case against them will be. It is illegal to pay you WA 1099 when you are working there on a regular schedule. They are skipping on the employment taxes and workers' comp. I remember when I watched with such pleasure when the NY Department of Labor Department made their visit and fined the company and then took their license away. In the end, every employee was suddenly given a W-2. My suggestion violates Rule 5, but oh boy, I feel like you and your coworkers should join forces. You absolutely don't want to do this because you have to pay both parts of Social Security tax. File a Schedule C and SE and have no unemployment or workers' comp. Right now, you have unemployment insurance. Go down to the state unemployment department and put in a claim based on constructive dismissal. Put in a call to the IRS and your state tax authority. Immediately call the Department of Labor. Now it's the time to form a union. Remember, united we bargain, divided we beg. I had no idea the difference, and just looked it up. If I am understanding the tax stuff correctly, he's turning you into contract employees. I think? What a cheap bastard. He's giving you 2 days notice? ID look for another job. Then give him the same notice he gave you. The good news is, there's lots of places hiring. I am sorry. I hope you can find a better opportunity. Yellow heart, what a jerk. Show up whenever you please in whatever you want to wear. When boss complains, say, I am an independent contractor. You don't control when or how I do the job I was contracted to do.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.